Right, let's talk touring cars. Let's talk to two guys who are among the fastest in the British Touring Car Championship. They were in with the championship fight right till the end last year. I'm going to put the chairs a little bit further apart, just in case. Please welcome Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden. Are you all right being that close? I know you're teammates, but you know, welcome guys. Happy New Year. Good to see you. 2010, Matt, was a good one for Team Dynamics. You guys were in with a championship shout for the drivers, at least until the end, but you wrapped up the team's championship. It was a good year.
It was a mega year, considering it was a bit of a slow start for us. You know, it was a bit of a last-minute deal to get it all together. And so if you could say at the beginning of the year we're going to be second and third, win the manufacturers, win the teams, and you know, between us, win 10 out of the 30 races, we'd have grabbed it with both hands. But it's when you get to the last race and you miss out on the title, there's always a little bit of you know, sadness or what could have been.
Well, don't be greedy, because you have won it twice.
Yeah, but you never stop.
I know you want to win it 3 times, so you can tell Jason that you've won it more times than he has. But there's some great.
You read my mind very well.
Yes. There's some great needle between you and Jason. You guys have been in the championship for several hundred years, and you're still motivated to do well.
Yeah, someone came up to me yesterday and they said, you know, you and Jason got on well last year. You know, what was that all about? And I said, well, people used to ask me, when we got on, was it an act, and did we do it for TV? And I said, no, we really don't get on. So I said, what you should ask yourself is, us getting on last year, was that an act? And is it going to be back to normal this year?
There's something about the British Touring Car Championship, isn't there, that you boys can't help yourselves.
Well, I didn't understand it in rallying that everyone gets to the end of the stage and they're all friendly and going over the pace notes and saying, what about this corner or that corner? When we get to the end of a race and everything, and we're all trying to pull each other's helmet off and get the first punch in.
Gordon, I get at the end of a race, Alan Gow must just run away and hide somewhere for all the moaning and groaning that must go on.
He does. I think now all he says is no to everything. You know, anytime you want to complain, he just says no. But you know, it's been an interesting race when you've got a queue of just about everybody standing outside the Toka bus waiting to get their tuppence worth in with Alan.
You had another good year, lots of wins in the Honda Civic. Honda are really behind this program, aren't they? You are kind of now the works Honda British Touring Car team.
Yeah, and I think it's been a culmination of a lot of hard work. You know, obviously Dynamics have been involved with Honda since 2004 with the original Civic, and obviously, you know, Matt won his championships with the Integra. So, you know, the team has a long history of supporting the Honda brand, and now Honda are supporting Dynamics. So yeah, it's great. They're right behind it. It's integral to their marketing strategy for this year, and you know, it's now up to us to deliver and to try and get every championship this year.
Yeah, I think one of the things, I've been told this week, which I didn't realise, is we are now, it's the only official Honda four-wheeled program in 2010 in Europe. So, you know, they're putting a lot behind it.
I'm glad you said four-wheeled then, because we would have got onto motorbikes then, which would have been dangerous. 2011 changes to the car. Just outline fundamentally what's happening.
So, I mean, for us, we're making a little bit of a change. You see to the side of the stage, the new NGTC touring car. We're going a little bit of a halfway house. We're going to keep the original Super 2000 chassis. Obviously, our car was fantastic in the corners last year, really, really good on the brakes. But the way the rules are written, the turbocharged engines had a big advantage. So we need to kind of get on that bandwagon. So we're now going to have an NGTC Honda turbocharged engine this year, the same chassis, so it should, in theory, be the best of both worlds.
Matt, there's a serious move to reduce costs in the BTCC and open it up to privateers. Obviously, that's probably quite close to your heart, because you started as a privateer and kind of ruffled a few feathers, didn't you, as a privateer?
Yeah, when I started in the 90s, it was very unfair, the factory cars to the private teams and everything, and now it's a much more level playing field. But I suppose now being in a factory car, I'd quite like that uneven playing field and me having the advantage, but I've got it the wrong way around. But the new formula, the NGTC regulations, which is the next generation touring car regulations, are one, designed for cost, and two, designed for competitiveness of all vehicles. So everyone's going to be on a level playing field, which is going to make the racing really close, really tight. You know, it's going to be typical BTC, very physical. But this year, it's a year of change. So we've got some teams with complete new regulations, some complete with the old S2000 regulations, and you've got other teams like ourselves and Ford, who are going to be like a halfway house, where we're going to be S2000 chassis, but with the new generation turbo engine. So there's going to be a lot of juggling for Gow to do with the you know, how he gets people up there.
Presumably it'll take a few years to settle down and get your die-hard touring car fans to understand who's running what and what the fundamental differences are.
Yeah, I think so. But you know, from the outset and watching on television, the fact is it's a touring car race, and you know, we've always had different specs of cars. You know, when we ran the old BTC spec rules, and then a few Super 2000 cars came in when Seat came in. So there will be different spec cars, but the fact is the racing, as Matt says, is going to be incredibly close. You know, Gow obviously makes sure that happens. So yeah, I think it could be its most competitive year for quite a few years.
What I liked to hear yesterday was obviously the turbo engines are a step forward and should be much more competitive. Was that Chevrolet aren't going to give Jason a turbo engine, which was absolutely great news as far as I was concerned.
And no doubt you've been winding him up about it all day.
I was last night, yeah, absolutely.
He's been crying all night. He's so sad that that's not going to happen.
Alan Gow said yesterday on this very stage that the BTCC is entering a golden era, and you're going to get more cars and more drivers and closer racing. Do you think he's right?
Does that,
you have to say yes, don't you, because he's in charge.
He's going to give me a gold watch for 25 years service in it.
Yeah. And there's no age limit. Just explain, your old mate James Thompson's tested the NGT car. Fundamentally, how does it work? If I wanted to start a touring car team, do I buy a kit of parts and put them inside a body shell of my choice?
Essentially, yes. You know, the whole idea with the regulations is that you can, you know, it's a subframe front and rear, and that subframe has been designed to fit into any touring or any body shell effectively that fits the width and the length. So whether you've got a Toyota, whether you've got a Honda, whether you've got a Renault, whether you've got a Ford, you can go and buy that pack of bits effectively, and go and build your NGTC touring car.
So would somebody like Honda encourage people to do that? Would they say to somebody, you know, why don't you have one of our Accords? Or are the manufacturers not allowed to sort of get involved?
I don't know whether it's targeted more at private teams, so you don't have to have a manufacturer, so you don't have to be going to Honda or Audi or whoever. You know, you can go and buy an off-the-shelf thing, and literally you can buy whatever. If you've got an allegiance, so Toyota can do it. So, and it's a cheap way of them getting in because all the fundamentals, all the chassis and everything is there. So it's literally they're sticking their skin and their identity onto that car. And anybody can do it. Toyota, Seat, BMW, whoever. Front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, it doesn't matter.
Okay, quick word about preparations for the start of the season. Season starts at Brands, doesn't it, I think?
Yeah, season starts at Brands.
For the first time in a few years.
Yeah, first day of April.
When are you out testing? How much time are you going to get before the madness begins?
Well, we were due one of the new engines, because it's a complete new engine and transmission for the car, before Christmas, and we're still waiting at the moment, and it's going to be like, we're going to struggle this month to get it. But we are due out in Spain third week of February. So it's going to be a few late nights from getting the engine, and we're going to be in Spain at Guadix end of Feb with one new turbo car and one normally aspirated car, just to do, you know, a real back-to-back assessment.
And you're both busy off track, of course, aren't you? Gordon at Knock Hill and Matt with the wheels. Have you got enough time to devote energy to that?
Not really. I go to the wheel company and work on racing stuff, I think much like he does at Knock Hill, but it means you don't get many spare days, if any days off, you know, really, or, you know, we're doing this weekend, and you know, you're just flat out all the time.
Good stuff. Good to talk to you. Thanks for sparing the time to talk to us. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt, Neal, Gordon Shedden, our British touring car stars.
Thanks, John.